Nigel Mansell in the new Ferrari is in 6th place on the grid, but frankly not expecting to do well in the race because he stopped in the warm-up period and has had to have an engine change. So, watch the back of the grid and you'll see somebody with a green flag, and away they go. Now, Berger trying to come through, but Patrese is taking the lead, is he? No, Senna's holding it, and Berger is trying to sprint through on the inside of the automatic gearbox Ferrari, and Patrese goes through, Berger spins, and has lost part of the car. Senna is being passed, Senna is down to 4th, down to 5th, it's Patrese leading, up into 3rd position has come Boutsen. So the Williams are well away, but they have problems with overheating, but Patrese is fairly scorching away. At the end of lap 1, it is in the lead, Riccardo Patrese in his 177th Grand Prix. Thierry Boutsen is in 2nd place, and up into 3rd position in the 2nd McLaren in the 2nd Ferrari has come Nigel Mansell. Nigel Mansell then from 6th position on the grid has come up into a storming 3rd position. And Mansell is 2nd. Nigel Mansell has gone up to 2nd place ahead of Thierry Boutsen, and this is lap 3 in this 61 lap race. Mansell, who is already the hero of Italy because he took the new 640 Ferrari by the scruff of its neck when he tested at Fiorano and broke the lap record first time out, and it was a frosty day at the time. Now, was he sandbagging? He said just before the race began that he imagined he would only last about 5 laps, but he's on his 4th lap now, and he's gaining on Riccardo Patrese, hand over fist. We'll check as they go through and complete the lap, but now, at the end of that 15th lap, with Prost having gone into the pits,
Mansell's taken the lead, and Nigel Mansell went round the outside of Riccardo Patrese at the end of the straight. Patrese went for the inside as they went up the straight, and Mansell, little puff off the verge as he put a wheel onto the verge, but he kept it all together and outbraked round the outside, and he'll be very relieved to have got past Patrese. Here we are, we see it again, and Mansell's towing up on the straight. Patrese moves to his left, Mansell touches the dirt there, but he's got it all tied up under braking, and now we get a view from the onboard camera of the disappearing Ferrari.
Mansell is coming into the pits now. Mansell is going to lose the lead. Patrese is going to go back into the lead. Riccardo Patrese in the Williams will take the lead. Nigel Mansell, and that's not a very good stop by today's standards, 10 seconds. Nigel Mansell takes on a set of new Goodyears in just over 10 seconds on lap 21, 1/3 distance, and I would imagine that he will now be able to go the rest of the race on the set of tyres that he's just taken. Nigel Mansell has rejoined in 3rd position, and on lap 22, as you watch the new race leader, Riccardo Patrese, who regained the lead from Mansell. Prost is in 2nd place, there is Capelli in the pits.
And remember, of course, that Prost is on fresher rubber because he has stopped, Patrese hasn't yet, and that must really, as Prost powers past at the end of the straight, he was in perfect position coming on.
So, after that spate of pit stops on lap 24 out of 61, there is the race leader, Alain Prost, and he is pulling away from Riccardo Patrese, who has still not come in for tyres, strangely. In 3rd position, back into the races, and that's Patrese being passed by Mansell. Mansell going up into 2nd position. Race leader, 5 times winner in Brazil, Alain Prost. Coming up behind him, Nigel Mansell, who started brilliantly from 2nd position on the grid last year in the Williams Judd. Now with Ferrari, people were saying in Brazil maybe he had not made the right decision. as the Williams Renault was going so well. It looks as though those people were wrong and that Nigel, as ever, knew what he was doing. Now we've got this familiar situation of the leaders closing up on tail-enders. One of them is Christian Danner, back in Grand Prix racing in the Real with the Ford DFR engine. And if either of the two men that they're closing up on gets in the way, there was Danner, we could see Mansell surge past. Mansell has closed the gap from 3 seconds to under half a second. This is lap 28.
And he's closer still this time than he was last on the previous lap when they hit the straight. So now as the speed picks up, so the benefit of the hole in the air starts to work, and Nigel dips out, and so Mansell takes the lead for the second time, the Brazilian Grand Prix.
Well, Mansell, I better be careful what I say. If Mansell can just keep this car going, it looks to me as though he's got the Brazilian Grand Prix well and truly tied up. And there is Nigel Mansell in the pits. He had the steering wheel off for some reason there. What on earth is happening? He's having a new steering wheel fitted, and he's ready to. And he's left the pits in 13 seconds. Well, that's the first time I have seen 5 wheels changed in a pit stop. 4 wheels, 2 at the front and 2 at the back, and the steering wheel. So Mansell has lost the lead to Alain Prost. Back again goes the little Frenchman into the lead. And Patrese going into the pits again. The great double world champion, 35 times a Grand Prix winner, Alain Prost at the wheel, has lost none of his motivation, being harried every inch of the way by, in his first drive for Ferrari, Nigel Mansell, 13 times a Grand Prix winner. All of them for the Williams team, which he left last year, and he's right on the gearbox of Prost's car now. When they get to the straight, Mansell can slingshot out of Alain Prost's McLaren slipstream, which he's doing now at the end of the straight, going into the Curva Sol at 150 miles an hour. It's a 7-speed gearbox, and that's the speed that Mansell will be in. 7th speed. He retakes the lead. An absolute barnstorming race from Nigel Mansell. Let's look at it again. Watch him close up on the gearbox of the McLaren, bob out from the slipstream as they go into the approach to the left-handed Curva Sol. And Alain Prost has to give the Englishman best. And on lap 47, it's Mansell leading, Prost second. Ultima volta, and Mansell's race looks as though it is almost finished.
Yes, and what a fantastic debut it's been. And I'm sure, certainly a surprise to Nigel. He was confidently predicting his race wouldn't last more than 5 laps because of all the trouble they had with the gearbox. Ferrari themselves only thought they'd go 10 laps. And what a nice surprise. Tremendous success for John Barnard with this, his brand new car, who's had such a difficult birth over the last couple of years. It's been a long and difficult political road in bringing the car to the line.
Look for the checkered flag. What a fool running across the course. A raving lunatic. But Nigel Mansell has won the Brazilian Grand Prix.
Over the weekend we have obviously a lot of problems. Warm-up this morning I only did 1 lap, and it was very disappointing. But this afternoon, what can I say except it's the most laps the car has done ever in the history of its life. And I'm very happy that it is reliable when it counts. This afternoon the race is when it counted, and it worked very, very well, and I'm very, very happy. But there's still a lot of work to be done for the gearbox, the engine and the car.